Sir, Callan Nichols, also from the U.S. Naval Academy. Whenever we graduate, our senior year, we have a list of 10 options, roughly 10. And that's what we can do with the next 5 to 15 to maybe 30 years of our life, depending on who you are. And it's based upon our desires, our order of merit, and the needs of the Navy or the Marine Corps. How wide of a set of options are your students going to have whenever they graduate from the Public Service Academy?
It's a good question. It's actually the Naval Academy more so than West Point. Sorry, Dr. Prince. On which we modeled how we wanted to do this. That we want to have, we actually envision 8 different civilian public service fields that you could choose. So a student would be a liberal arts major. The military academies are basically engineering schools, and all students have to have a broad array of engineering classes in order to graduate. And we would have a liberal arts civic education focus, civic education, international education focus. But in addition to their major, and they might be an economics major or a biology major, they would have to choose a field. And it might be education or healthcare, law enforcement, emergency management, foreign affairs. And it would be in this field where they will do internships as an undergraduate and service work as an undergraduate, and into this field that they will be placed following graduation. So there will be an element of choice. So, if you're a foreign affairs major, you won't be sent into healthcare. But there's also an element of service. And the way we envision is that the Public Service Academy would form partnerships with local, state, and federal agencies to identify needs, critical needs, and positions of strategic importance. And then the Academy would have, I understand you all have like a senior night where it's basically, you have all the options that you can choose, and based on your order of merit, you get to choose which one. So obviously if you're at the top of your class, you have a whole range of potential sites. If you're at the bottom of your class, you got to kind of take what's left. Right, and so we would have the same kind of process where students at the top of their class would be able to have their choice of where they wanted to go within the choices that are set up by the academy.
Sir, I appreciate it, sir.
Appreciate you.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Marcus Sinisatos, and I go to here at UT Austin. And my question is, I've been kind of having a dilemma, and I wanted to maybe see what your thoughts were about it, between the difference of foreign service and domestic service. So I guess like when the Peace Corps started in JFK, America had a lot of resources, so we started going out across the world and spreading those resources and everything that we've had here across the world, and really helped a lot of places. But I think like right now we're definitely seeing that we need to focus on what's happening in the United States. So with these types of programs, I'm doing Teach for America next year also.
Congratulations. Where are you going?
Thanks, to Houston.
Oh, wonderful.
And so, like right now we have these programs that are really focusing on domestic time. So do you think maybe that the United States should focus its service back domestic and kind of rebuild before we start going out again? Or do you think that there can be an equal foreign and domestic volunteership from graduating seniors?
What I would say, first of all, it's not volunteering. I mean, you're going to be paid, my friend.
Sure.
not as much as you might in another field, but you'll be paid. Don't worry. What I would say is that it depends on your passion. And I think both foreign service and domestic service are equally valuable, and that there's an important reason why the Peace Corps exists and USAID exists, and why Americans need to go abroad. We need to show the world who we are as Americans. I think almost universally when American citizens go abroad, I went abroad, I grew up abroad because of my father being in the Foreign Service, but I went abroad in Korea, and I was an ambassador for America. And the more that the world sees American citizens doing good and sees who we really are, the more friends we win in the world. And that's incredibly important. And so I think doing the Peace Corps is a fantastic way to serve our country. But it's not for everyone. Not everybody wants to live in a mud hut in Botswana. Not everybody wants to spend their time struggling with economic development in Croatia. I mean, there are other ways that you can serve, and you can serve domestically. Some of you may be very interested in going abroad, learning a foreign culture, learning a foreign language, and that's part of who you want to be, and that's great too. So I think the needs are great on both ends, and there's no shortage of opportunities.
Thanks.
Morning, sir.
Morning.
Stephen Harrington from the University of Texas.
Wonderful.
And as much love as you've given my ring-knocking comrades, I'm an ROTC here. And I was wondering if you'd be considering any sort of ROTC-esque program for public service. As you said, your academy would be more liberal arts based. So maybe an ROTC program at like a more engineering nerdy school. Because I know that was my turn off with the academies is I can't do engineering for the life of me. So
It's a great question, and some people have even raised the question. They say, well, why build an academy? Why not just create a scholarship program? And we think that an academy has to come first. You know, the Naval Academy had to come first before Naval ROTC could come. Or, you know, West Point had to be there first before you could have Army ROTC later on. And so we want to build the academy, the flagship institution, the keeper of the traditions, the one place in this country where students and scholars alike will come to study public leadership. Once we have that established, I do think that there would be a lot of value in creating an ROTC type scholarship later on, you know, on satellite campuses and on existing college and university campuses around the country. Absolutely.
all right, thank you, sir.
Absolutely.
Reggie Tucson from Texas State University. And my question is, once you realize in yourself the desire to get into public service, how do you think is one of the most effective ways, I guess, of leading others into public service?
How do you lead others into public service? Well, I think the best leadership is always by example. You know, I mean, Howard Prince leads by example. You look at his life and you can see, wow, this is a person who actually lives what he believes. And so by living what you believe, by being what you believe, I think your example will help inspire people, whether it's your little brother or whether it's a friend of yours or whether it's somebody reading about you or hearing about you elsewhere. I think that's the most important thing, is to lead a life of service with integrity and sincerity. And that example is inspiring. Beyond that, you know, take it upon yourself to become an ambassador for public service. You know, for Teach for America, one of the things that Teach for America does very well, it's part of why it out-recruits all these Wall Street firms, is it makes its alumni powerful ambassadors for the organization. And so, you know, you can't go a month without getting some emails or phone calls from Teach for America saying, oh, come to a classroom and talk to the kids. Why don't you go to your alma mater and recruit for Teach for America? Can you write a letter on our behalf to help recruit more students? And so Teach for America alums then become the best ambassadors and recruiters for future Teach for America alums. And so that's what you can do as well, is to see yourself as a representative of service.
Thank you.
You're welcome.